Get ready. Get ready. Oh my good God. Oh my good God, that looks stunning. It smells. Oh my God. Look at that. Oh my God. Oh, gee, look at that. Now that is the king of everything. Oh man. Oh my good God. So happy. Hey man. Hey man.
My Bailey Experience by Sam Winston. A few days ago, I received my custom electroacoustic bootlegger, and while I said I would write to Mark and Carol in a week or so to let the pixie dust settle, so to speak, I simply couldn't wait. I woke this morning staring at my Bailey and couldn't help but grin a grin I hadn't felt in years. Such is the energy an instrument like this brings. And as a singer-songwriter finishing my debut solo album, I cannot think of a better time to receive such a wonderful gift. So where did my Bailey experience first begin? Well, that's actually a long time ago, 10 years to be precise. When I was 16, myself and my best friend Adam managed to get tickets to the London Guitar Show at the Excel Centre. Off we went one crisp Saturday morning, driven there by Adam's dad. 3 guitar enthusiasts, yet novices in the field of what's good and what's not. After trying some market leaders, I was called to a small but intriguing stall. The guitars all said Bailey, a name the 3 of us were unfamiliar with. Now at this point, I had no clue about Mark and Carol's green ethics, nor their handmade, bespoke leanings. I also missed Mark's demonstration of him building a guitar from scratch that day, an anecdote Carol would proudly describe to me years later. If I'd known all this, my interest would have spiked even further from the start. What drew me in at first was not only the beauty and variety of the instruments, but the undeniable skill and attention these guitars had received. I pick one at random. I'm swapping to present tense since the experience still sits fresh in my mind. I choose a brooding red electric, hooked up to some pedals on the wall. I strum a simple chord, dabble in a silly solo. Thwack! A lightning bolt from guitar god Zeus, or should that be Goose, strikes me down from his purest, most pillowy cloud. It cannot be! A guitar this beautiful, that plays like silk beneath the fingers? The sound too is breathtaking. Though coming through a heavy bank of pedals, I'm unsure of Old Red's neutral tone. What I recall most of that initial encounter is the feel of the guitar, or rather the non-feel, as though hands and fingers were effortlessly welded to the fretboard. A symbiotic relationship, a partnership, harmony. I wish I'd tried more Baileys that day, but I didn't. One, picked at random, was enough. And at 26, I can still relive these nascent moments. Now, skipping ahead 5, 7 or even 9 years, whenever anyone would mention high-end guitars, I would always say, "Have you heard of Bailey guitars up in Scotland? I tried one once and it was the best thing I ever played." By this time, I'd researched into their ethos, location, etc. I knew I wanted one. The question was, when? In brief, a year ago, I found myself in an unhappy state. Personally and professionally, I was a little lost, performing a job that did nothing for me, struggling with my songs, just treading water. Everything came to a head quite drastically and left me begging the question, what do I really want? I tried to address the issues that troubled me. I quit my job, changed my outlook, not overnight, no, but decided to pursue music full time. What I needed was to indulge in the guitar I deserved and to not feel bad about saying so. I needed the instrument that Carol quoted lived only in my dreams. As I'm based in London, I couldn't visit the Bailey workshop anytime soon. However, after the first phone chats with Carol and Mark, I felt as warmly welcomed as any live encounter. Together in about 1 hour and miles apart, we sketched out the initial template. I loved the look of Mark's own bootlegger, but required the addition of a cutaway. Carol told me I was on a waiting list, but having waited years already, a few months seemed a breeze, and it was. Soon began a thrilling process whereby I would choose the parts and Mark and Carol would gather them up. I was sent regular emails with pictures of said parts, plus questions of finer choices that needed to be made. For anyone who doesn't know, including my younger self, it's truly mad the amount of detail that goes into these things. I'd been given the keys to my very own musical sweet shop and offered the most tantalising goods that would impress any guitarist. But I never felt overwhelmed. I was always steered kindly towards something that would suit my music, and me. After some deliberation, those sweets in question were a sustainably sourced Cocobolo back and sides, a Sitka spruce soundboard, a mahogany neck, gold Goto tuners, LR Bags pickup, plus the sweetest golden mother-of-pearl inlay made by master craftsman Mike Reed. The brilliant inlay Mike made me was based on a lantern, the emblem for my upcoming album, a collection of songs about light and hope in the dark. Before long, I moved up the Bailey waiting list. Soon it was my turn. At this point, Mark set up a Dropbox photo page to communicate his progress daily. At this point, the ants of anticipation were starting to itch my musical skin. At one point near the end, Mark asked me if I wanted a gloss finish or not. Giving me the pros and cons, he allowed me space and time to think and to pick. He informed me that gloss would strengthen surfaces and further bring out the grain of the wood, and my, did my eyes melt when those first glossy pictures came through. Sage advice by the master. The journey from here rapidly accelerated, but you'd be a fool to think that it was in any way rushed. Hour upon hour Mark must spend on each guitar. A labourer of love, a craftsman, a man of passion. And when I clicked open the complimentary Hiscox hardcase 4 days ago, passion was what hit me first. Something ethereal, something new but familiar. Each day I play my custom Bailey, whether rehearsing or songwriting, I discover something different to admire, whether it be the Mark made or the natural. The flecks of grain within the mahogany or cocobolo, the curve of the headstock that so complements the bridge shape. And what of the feel and the sound? Superb. Brain-boggling. Once more, my mind was blown. I'll stop here now, nothing more need be said. I am transfixed, beamed back in an instant, to 10 years previously, to my initial Bailey experience.
That is the king of everything.